and welcome to another video. We're going to have a little chit chat this week and I'm going to cover a few of my tips on how to manage solo van life and beat loneliness in the van. Sound good? What do you think? Well, I think we'll do it over a hot drink. I was going to say a cup of tea, but I actually hate tea and coffee. I can maybe stretch to a hot chocolate, so let's have a chat over a hot chocolate. Whilst the kettle boils, if you can tell, I'm obviously stationary. Not doing tons of travelling around at the moment for a few reasons. The main one is my brakes. So I've just been doing sort of local travels. I'd say even that's starting to push the brakes at the moment. So yeah, travelling is on hold until it's been to the garage. It sounds like the brakes are running on sandpaper at the moment, so safety first and all that. The brake pads are brand new, so I think it's from when I nearly had a meltdown in the south of France over the brakes. He said it was just the disc rotors that need changing. So, Bonnie, what are you doing? That's hot. Okay, so yeah, I know I don't tend to do many just sit down talky ones. I just felt, I don't know. I was just walking Bonnie earlier and I thought, oh actually I think I could sit down and talk about that. So this is probably more for me than it is for you, but if it helps then that's a bonus. So spoiler, I actually don't get lonely in the van. Like at all, and I think it's because of these 4 reasons. So reason number 1, get a dog. Obviously my best friend in the whole world, never talks back, unconditional love. Yeah, there are some challenges obviously to traveling with a dog, some sacrifices. You don't get to do everything that you'd want to do. Yeah, she's the best. I wouldn't do it without her. And yeah, probably the worst bit is having to do that evening toilet run for her, especially over winter when it's like pitch black out. That's horrible sometimes, but she is worth it, and I think she's the number 1 reason that I wouldn't ever get lonely in the van. She's a great listener. Reason number 2, I just need a prop, so bear with me. Reason number 2, my Starlink. So the Starlink basically just means I can be connected pretty much anywhere in the world, and I can always have contact with any friends or family. And yeah, especially going around Europe, that really helped. It just, I didn't use it that much, but it was just like the comfort of knowing I can always connect up to that and always get in contact with someone if I need to. Phone calls make all the difference if you do start to feel a bit lonely. As I say, not happened to me yet. Sorry Mum and Dad, I did miss you, but I didn't get lonely. So reason number 3 I probably don't get lonely is I keep myself busy. So I always have stuff to do in the van. I have lots of books, some little like puzzles like Sudoku, that sort of thing. Got Lego. I always have my iPad so I can watch some movies or catch up on YouTube. And obviously Bonnie kind of plays into keeping busy. When she's not tired, she gives me a reason to get up, get out and yeah, explore places, which is kind of my favourite bit of van life. With the busyness side of it, I actually think van life in general keeps you pretty busy. I find especially travelling around, sometimes you have to like schedule in break days where you're not just like constantly on the go travelling, going to different places. My head's also pretty busy. I could have like full conversations with myself if I needed to. Not in like a schizophrenic way. My brain's just always thinking, so yeah, it's pretty busy up there. So I don't know if you saw, but I had a message this week. It was just popped up on my Instagram. I actually missed it for a week. But it was to do a little interview with the BBC. So I've just done that, and that's actually published today, which when this comes out will be yesterday. Quick turnaround this week. Yeah, I'm just saying that like over and over, like the freedom of it is just, yeah, I just love it. So point number 4 is your friends. So making time to catch up with friends. This is a little bit of a sensitive subject for me at the moment. But I guess I can make this into a 5 points. 5 points for resolving loneliness. So catch up with friends. I do have friends. So actually it was fairly recently that like my entire friend group who I've grown up with, went to university with, they completely cut me off. Kind of out the blue. And essentially because of my Christian faith and beliefs and morals, that they didn't align with anymore, I guess. Yeah, but luckily my brother and his fiance are a couple of my best friends, so they've hung out in the van with us before. I've made a couple of van life friends, so we meet up in like some local park ups now and then and just have a chat. Yeah, all of that's important. I am fairly solitary, so I guess that's probably a lesser point for me, but if you're super social, there's plenty of people out there that would be willing to meet up, and there's loads of like van life festivals. I've never been to them. As I say, I'm a bit of an introvert, so they're not something that jump out at me at the moment. I wouldn't say no in the future. Yeah, I guess I kind of touched on it there, and that's going to be point number 5, and that's going to be my faith. So I've been a Christian probably since I was like 6 years old, but it was around maybe 18 months ago now. Really struggling with like anxiety, panic attacks, low mood, all that sort of thing. And yeah, I actually got, I don't know whether you believe it or not, you can ask me questions in the comments if you want, but I've actually had like complete mental health healing about 18 months ago, and since then I've not had a single thought of anxiety, low mood, anything like that. And it was something that had plagued me for probably half my life at that point. And I think that's probably, that maybe should have been number 1, because the peace I get from that is what stops me having any sort of loneliness in the van. I try and read like my Bible every night, and that feels like a real connection. It's like reading about your best friend or your family. Like, yeah, that brings me a lot of comfort as well when I need it. But yeah, just like the general peace from it. It's honestly, it has changed my life. I know a lot of people don't believe in that sort of thing, but that's number 1 for me. Sadly, it resulted in the loss of my friendship group, but yeah, that comes first, and I will never regret it. It will be most important to me until the day I die. And yeah, hopefully God's plan for me is that I can drive off into the sunset in my van to a nice little rural cottage in Scotland. Yeah, if you have any questions about like Christianity and stuff, that's something that I always love to talk about. So you can private message me on Instagram, and I will reply at some point if you ever have any questions about that sort of thing. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this week. Just a little catch up. Me venting about life in general. Yeah. On a side note, if you're watching this because you feel lonely, feel free to reach out. I might take a while to respond because I'm terrible at replying, but I'll get there eventually. Also, little Easter egg, I mentioned Scotland there and rural house in Scotland, and that's going to play into next week's video. So me and the entire family are driving to Scotland, and we are scoping out an area to see if we like it enough to live in. Yeah, I won't be taking the van because, as I say, I don't trust the brakes now to do a long journey like that. So we'll be going on a mini adventure, as in like in a mini. And there'll be some camping as well, which I'm really looking forward to. I've not camped in ages. So yeah, looking forward to that. So that's going to be probably the next couple of weeks. So if you found this really boring, I apologise. We'll be out doing some more interesting stuff from next week. Yeah, if you've made it all the way to the end through my ramblings and half advice, then thank you very much and see you next week. Bye. Oh, also, Bonnie has had a haircut if you didn't notice, so leave in the comments how pretty she looks to give her a little ego boost. But otherwise, see you next week.